Yes, sir.
Something else.
What now?
You mentioned the WoW content release cadence of Legion Remix is coming.
Legion remixes, yeah.
Not without its own drama.
How has Legion got drama? Oh, tell me they're putting 4 limits on Legos. That would be great.
No, this is something I'm annoyed about.
So it's transmog then.
They are not allowing people to get the Mage Tower appearances.
You can't get the Mage Tower appearance. What are they doing? Recolors?
As far as we know, they're not doing any Mage Tower.
Why?
I don't know.
They're not doing the Mage Tower appearances. Why? Have they done a post?
There is a blue post.
There's a blue post.
I saw it on tweet 30.
Alright, Mage Tower. Oh, there I see. Mage Tower artifact appearances. Why?
Because of prestige, which applies to literally nothing else in the game except PvP.
Alright, we have a blue post here. I swear to God, the hills they choose to die on
It's
sometimes
so
are so bizarre.
baffled.
It's so weird, the hills they decide to die on. Many times throughout the history of WoW, there have been items, titles, and other kinds of rewards that belong in a category of the most prestigious and historic accomplishments. Rewards that we believe should be preserved in a historical context for only those players who earned them at the time. Example that comes to mind for many players include Corrupted Ashbringer, the Mop Challenge Mode items. Players who obtain these rewards also maintain a sense of achievement in possessing them to this day. As we've explored the full list of all rewards that players could earn when Legion was current content, we've determined that some fit this description and will not be obtainable in Legion Remix. The Mage Tower artifact appearances, artifact weapon appearances from PvP, and seasonal PvP gear. These exceptions represent a very limited subset of skill-intensive, limited-time rewards that we feel are consistent with the precedent set in the Pandaria remix. In Legion Remix, players will have access to even more total rewards than Pandaria, including some previously retired rewards like the Mythic Chosen Dead ensemble. Oh, fuck that ensemble. I have it, but the Violet Spellwing and gear from the Legion pre-launch event. There are also going to be many all-new items and previously... Okay. First of all, let's start with the elephant in the room. This is bullshit. This is bullshit. The only time in Legion that the Mage Tower artifact appearances were a representation of skill was when it immediately came out. And that's it. That's literally it. As soon as Tomb of Sargeras came out, and Argus, you were overgeared like a motherfucker, and everybody had the Mage Tower appearances. The idea that this was a skill-intensive achievement or accomplishment is absolute bullshit. Massive, massive piles of bullshit. That is not true. That is retroactive history. That is absolute fucking garbage. The Mage Tower is such a weird piece of content because it is remembered so fondly because everybody has weird rose-tinted goggles about it. The Mage Tower was absolutely hated when it came into the game because only mythic geared people could even potentially do most of the challenges. I remember I did it day one and all the content creators were doing it day one who were geared, but nobody else could touch it. It was way too hard. Couldn't do it. And then everybody got overgeared and smashed them to pieces and collected all of them. So the idea in any way, shape or form that the Mage Tower was a reward for skill-intensive, limited-time rewards. It went on for at least 2 content patches. 3, really. Is absolute nonsense. Also, I would put out that the Chosen, which, if I'm remembering it correctly, is to do Hellier, the entire raid without dying, was way harder to do than the Mage Tower. Way, 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 way harder, even up until the end of the expansion. Doing the Chosen, doing that entire raid without you dying was really hard. Way, way harder. And also kind of sucks. I remember when I got it and it was kind of shit. But either way, this is bollocks. Also, point number 2. It's fucking transmog. This isn't some mega prestigious thing. And everybody who played in Legion has some of the Mage Tower appearance, I would imagine. And so you're only punishing people who didn't play in Legion pretty much. And had at least... I'm sure there's some people out there who played Legion who were like, oh, I wish I'd got that artifact appearance. because it's pretty cool, especially if you've got the druid ones, which changed the cat farms and whatever. Oh, you didn't have that alt at the time, right? I didn't have a druid alt, or I didn't have whatever, so I didn't manage to get it. But that's the only people you're punishing here, is either people who didn't have the right alt at the time and didn't... Because you could do Argus world questing and overgear the Mage Tower massively. Also, this won't carry over to retail. It does. At the end of Remix, your character does get transferred to retail with all the rewards. So yes, it does carry over to retail. I agree in principle. I mean, personally, I really liked the FF tattoo idea, and I really wouldn't mind if at the end of an expansion or something, a player that completed that had some sort of tattoo or an earring. Something very light, something very barely noticeable by certain people that they could apply to their character. I think that's totally fine. Transmog for most of the WoW player base is like 80% of the game. And the artifact appearances are really cool. They're not prestigious. They were prestigious for about 3 months. That's it. They were prestigious for about 3 months. After that, people were getting them left, right, and center. Like, there was werebears all over the fucking place. Like, it was not hard to get. Yeah, this is one of those weird hills to die on that doesn't make any sense. Mop challenge mode gear, I kind of agree with, because that was somewhat scaled. People did find ways around it, but the challenge mode gear was somewhat scaled. But even then, it wasn't hard to get. Like, we had warlocks tanking the challenge modes, all sorts of stuff. In retail, I still cannot get the druid forms. I never played Legion. Yeah, exactly. You don't know what the Mage Tower is. The Mage Tower was a piece of content that they put into the game as on one of their islands. So it was like it's something that joined midway through the game, which had a specific challenge for your class and spec of your character. And you had to do it solo. So it was a solo gaming challenge that was designed, for the most part, for your spec specifically. So if you wanted to play a Fury Warrior, they had a specific one. Now, they did overlap. I think there was, 5 or 6 different Mage Tower challenges, and they just adapted them a little bit on a spec-by-spec basis. And the idea was you had to utilize all of your class abilities, or spec. I want to be clear on this because they were different. You might have a druid, but the druid has 4 specs, and so it had 4 separate challenges. And you had to overcome it. Now, when it came out, it was obscenely difficult. You needed not only extremely high-end gear that most of the player base doesn't have, barring like a few thousand of millions of players, literally a few thousand, but you also needed specific legendaries, which were a random drop. And if you were playing alts, like getting all the specific legendaries on alts, unless you were like me and just played the game 16 hours a day, every single fucking day, you didn't have access to them. Like the Warlock one in particular was notorious, right? It needed the Corruption Slow legendary or some shit. Guardian Druids needed the Thrash range extend. I did it without it because I'm a fucking god gamer. But like it made it significantly easier if you had these specific legendaries. And if you didn't have them, it was infinitely harder. So for a little while, it was tough until they just released more raid tiers and the gear shot through the roof and you just crushed everything into the floor. So it didn't matter. It really, really didn't matter. And also, some of them were really easy. You can go back on my YouTube channel because that's where the TDPs came from, was me doing the Mage Tower because I wanted to do it off stream because I was enjoying the fuck out of it. It was the first time. It's remembered so well because certainly for players like me, it was the first piece of content WoW had released in a long time that was solo and really engaging and fun. And it would take up days, weeks of trying and doing it. Some of them you would do first time because they were really fucking easy. And then other ones were really, really fucking hard. Like the tank ones in particular, like Demon Hunter and Blood DK were really easy. Prot Paladin was like, for me, really hard. I had a very undergeared Prot Paladin with massive cooldown management and all sorts. Because I made a goal to beat them all before Tomb of Sargeras came out. I think I did everything but like 2 by that point. But they were really fucking hard. But over the months, it got very, very easy. I think this is nonsense. I don't see the benefit of this. And it's transmog. People really give a shit about transmog. And often the recolors just aren't as good as the ones you want. Sure, there's lots like me. I tried the date released. I couldn't do it. I gave up. I never went back to his expansion, so you never got it. Your bear tank one took you 20 tries. I think the longest one at the Resto Druid, I think took me like 30 tries, maybe. And Prop Paladin, I know, took me a couple of nights. So probably 20 plus tries for Prop Paladin, because my Prop Paladin just got absolutely hammered into the floor. And also, you had no knockback prevention, so if you got hit by one of the Infernals, you were just dead. Absolutely dead. I used the legendary Hunter Legs that healed me while standing still to beat MM. Yeah. Bear without loofah. I did bear without loofah. Absolutely ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. So I just disagree. I disagree with everything in here, which I think is a good reason for people to be pissed. It's just not true. It's not true. It's inaccurate and it's untrue. Like, it's just not necessary to try and gaslight people like this, because it doesn't make sense. And specifically to bring up the Chosen. Chosen's way harder. I know in Legion Remix you're probably going to have characters with 8 billion health or whatever that can't possibly die. But Chosen at the time was way, way harder. Way, 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 way harder. Like, Hellier would just absolutely Shrek your raid if they weren't coordinated properly. Yeah. The Destro Lock one was really fun for me in a Ret Paladin.